the internet actually kicked in for us. That was really cool. Welcome, everybody. How's it going? Moving towards the end of the middle of July 2024. And I'm thrilled to have yet another first time offender on Drum Talk TV. His first interview, Eden Bahar, from his homeland of Israel, now traveling around the United States with Cirque du Soleil, the Kuza show. Shalom, Manashma. How are you?
Oh, nice. You got me. Nice. Now, can you continue the conversation?
I'd have to reach deep back in the annals of my brain, but it's great to have you to talk about Cirque. I've never had a drummer or percussionist on that's a Cirque performer. So we're going to talk about that. We'll talk about your book, which is I'm really excited to talk about your book. That's interesting. And the link to the book is in the description, folks, whether you're watching on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Vimeo. Go ahead and check that out. It's Unbeatable is what it's called. Unbeatable, a self-fulfillment story told through a pair of drumsticks. There it is. Let's start with that. Give everybody kind of like, what's the synopsis of the book? What can they expect and who is it for, Eden?
Yeah. Well, first of all, let me just say it's an honor to be here in this show with you. I've been watching Drum Talk TV for years. So thank you for doing this. Yeah, it's really pleasure to be here.
That means a lot to me. Appreciate it, bro.
So the book is an autobiography. The audience that the book is talking to is everyone who wants to fulfill their dreams, basically. I grew up, I was born in Israel. Pretty normal family, a very musical household. My father is a pianist and a producer, and my mom, she's super musical. She knows so many songs. Every song that plays in the radio, she knows it. And even when I was in my mom's womb, she was tapping on the belly all the time. You know, she wanted to have a drummer as a boy.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So really, I started playing the drums even before I was able to talk or walk. I was already holding a pair of sticks and jamming with my dad in his studio. Like that's the most, that's the easiest way of expression for me. And fast forward a few years, I start my service in the army, as everyone is doing in Israel. But I wasn't a fighter or anything. I kept doing my thing and kept drumming in the IDF orchestra. So I was in the marching band of the IDF, which was a pretty tricky place to go into. But eventually I got that job, which was amazing.
Great.
And then kind of a year and a half into my service, I was designated to be the main drummer for Israel Independence Day, to march roughly 500 soldiers to do help me out. How do you say when they march and they're doing like shapes?
Oh, the formations. Yeah, the different formations. Yeah, and choreography.
Yeah, choreography, formations. So I was marching about 500 soldiers to do different formations on the Israel Independence Day, and that was an amazing experience. Unfortunately, one day I had a really terrible accident happening there on like maybe 2 weeks before the final ceremony, and I lost a very good friend of mine, and that really changed my life in a split second. You know, that was the first moment in my life that I was really scared for my own life, you know. Which was very frightening for a 19-year-old kid. And after that, you know, when my whole perspective for life shifted, and I saw how life can be so fragile and and basically can end so fast. You never know when is your time.
Right.
So I decided to live my life to the fullest, follow my dreams, um, set goal for myself, and go for it, no matter how crazy it is. And Cirque du Soleil is a great example for that, because there was never an Israeli drummer on Cirque du Soleil until I showed up,
Wow.
and and that's only one example of
Yeah.
so many dreams that I wanted to fulfill. Um, Thanks to that accident that happened to me in the army, I am who I am today thanks to the good and the bad,
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
everyone.
sometimes things like that in life, they inspire us and motivate us in ways that we may not understand at the time, and it's about recognizing them and then taking from that moment and making turning it into whatever we want to and whatever we can, and that's what you've done, which is really awesome. If you don't mind me asking, how old are you now?
I'm 32 now.
Okay, so that kind of wasn't that long ago, really. It was only 13 years ago.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
In my
almost
world,
13,
that's like a
yes.
month and a half. Thanks for sharing that. And
Yeah,
does the story start from that moment, or does it give more of your life history before then and then impresses upon that moment and how that changed you?
yeah, it does start before, but I actually never thought I would write a book. Before I got the job with Cirque du Soleil, that was the summer of 2019.
Mhm.
um, I started writing a journal every day, and from that journal, I basically decided to shift it into a book. Then that was during COVID, really.
Oh,
Yeah, that was during COVID, and so the book starts with a little bit of my history. How I grew up, where I grew up, what I like, all kinds of big main events that happened in my life
yeah.
until my service in the army. And then I'm also sharing some stories that happened after the service in the army. And then I start to shift the book into exactly how I wrote the journal. The journal is really day by day by day, and I'm sharing everything that happens to me when I'm already on the job with Cirque du Soleil. So it starts me as a baby going into a main event in my service, and then shifts into fulfilling my dreams in Cirque du Soleil. And then the world shuts down in COVID, but I keep going. um, I don't let myself fall into depression. I keep writing the journal. I realize I can make the journal a book and maybe help someone, inspire someone, fulfill their own life dreams. um, and I end the book in a quote that I'm sure one day I'll be back working with Cirque du Soleil. That was in COVID, right? But here I am,
Yeah.
2 3 years later, and I'm here,
Doing it.
still doing my thing. Yeah, exactly.
Let's show everyone a short clip of you. And then I have some questions. And folks, if you're watching live, you're welcome to submit some questions. I've always wondered what it would be like playing in a Cirque show. I'm embarrassed to say I've never seen one in person yet, but I've seen a lot of
Really?
films, and to me, it's fascinating. Really, I never have. But I know some people who have auditioned for them, and living in Las Vegas, before we moved to Arizona, where I started Drum Talk TV in Las Vegas, there were commercials all over the place, and so I have questions. But first, let's show everybody a quick clip. Check this out, everybody. So I have some questions. We'll get to the show in a minute. We'll show a clip from the show. Great playing, beautiful drum kit. And before we get to the gear, how is the drum riser moving? Is it remote control? Is there a motor in it? Is it what's going on there? Is there someone under the stage with a big magnet? What's happening?
That's a great question, and no one has ever asked me that before, actually. Yeah, so that table is driven by a remote control, just like it's like a big remote
Like a
control, like
yeah,
a
car or
joystick.
monster truck toy?
Yeah, exactly, like a
Yeah.
big PlayStation joystick, kind of.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Um, yeah, and it's a really interesting experience, and it took me quite a while to get used to going back and forth, because it really plays with my balance when I'm sitting, especially when I'm playing double kick drum. And
Yeah.
it's really, I'm kind of floating on the drum throne, and then it starts moving, and I'm like, whoa, what's happening? it's
Do they ever mess
it
with
took
you and,
me.
like, go in circles or something?
No.
Yeah. Hopefully, they won't see this and get that idea, right?
Hopefully, yeah. Yeah, it's really fun. It's really, really
That's
fun.
cool.
It's
The
yeah, it
the kit is beautiful too. It's a nice clear kit. Are those bass drums like 24 or 26 by 18? They look enormous.
they are 26, I think by 16 or 18.
By
But
16, yeah.
that video is maybe from 2 years ago, I believe, and we already have a new kit by now.
Oh, cool.
Unfortunately, yeah, it's not in the video, but it's an amazing Ludwig, classic oak with a silver sparkle wrap.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
Amazing. Yeah, it's the same configuration, although the only difference is that the kicks are 24, not 26.
Now, I know that to some degree that plays into the stage set itself. How much say do you have about the finish of the kit and all the gear?
Yeah, great question. So I was able to choose everything but the finish for the
Okay.
drums for the new kit. Yeah, the finish was very much show quality related, and it really depends on the artistic director and the
Yeah.
lighting and the whole colors of the show and how it blends in with the stage and everything. So that was the one thing I didn't have the say in, but uh, I did choose a Ludwig. I chose the sizes. I was able to change the kicks from 26 to 24.
Cool.
I chose like the depth. I chose even to put internal mufflers on all the toms, which is great.
Great. What
Um,
kind of heads are you using on the kit? On the new
I'm
one?
using yeah, Emperor Clears Remo.
Okay,
Yeah,
cool. And
yeah.
is the snare the oak as well, or is it a alloy snare?
It's a different Ludwig snare from
Okay.
their 110 anniversary.
Oh, okay,
Beautiful,
cool.
14 by 6.5.
Cool. Is it
Beautiful.
black and
It's
gold? Is it that one? The black and
No,
gold
it's
one?
not the black and gold.
Okay.
No, I have that one back home, but that's not what we have here. It's wood, and it's like tube lugs, beautiful sound, and I'm using a power stroke coated on it.
Nice.
Sounds amazing. Yeah, I love it.
That's awesome. What give us your cymbal rundown from hi-hats all the way around.
Ooh, okay. So I'm playing Feisty. I love
Okay.
Feisty. You got me on that one. I think, yeah, the 14 hats is a sound edge.
Okay, just like John Bonham.
Yes. And then I have a pretty massive configuration of from left to right. I'm going to start with the sizes.
Okay.
So I have a 22 crash, an 18 crash, 10 splash, and then I have a 17 crash, a 24 ride. I have a 19 crash, a 19 China, and a 20 crash. So
Nice.
pretty big
Yeah,
crashes.
yeah.
The music that I'm playing on the acoustic kit is like a super heavy rock tune. So
Yeah.
it has to be like, big and massive.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and we'll show another clip from the show too of you playing a little bit different kind of music. In fact, let's do that now. Let's show this clip.
Yeah,
Check
please.
this out, folks. I think it's going to let me see if it'll
Tonight we're gonna choose the cool side. Yeah,
awesome. Looks like a
Yeah.
fun show.
Yeah, that tune is called Crooner, and that's the opening act of the second act. So it's a
Cool. Now you
very
mentioned
cabaret song. Yeah,
yeah, that's what I was gonna say, almost burlesque in a way as well.
yeah,
And
yeah.
you're in Laguna Beach now. You're getting ready to go, if I remember right, up to Portland, then back down to Santa Monica, then up to Seattle.
Yes, correct.
Okay, cool. Are you coming to Arizona at all? You're playing in Phoenix?
Unfortunately, not.
Okay. Are
I
you going
wish.
back to Vegas? Are you going back to Vegas?
No, no, because Vegas has resident shows, so really Kuza never
Right.
goes to Vegas. Yeah, we
Yeah.
are a big top touring show, so Vegas is a different animal, kind of, where
Yeah.
they only have resident circ shows there. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. Cool. Maybe what you could do is send us your tour schedule and Steve will add it to the posts so that people can have that link and see where they can catch you. That would be cool.
Oh yeah, yeah, for sure we can do that. Absolutely. Yeah.
So let me ask you this.
Portland,
What
Santa
what was
Monica,
the
Seattle. Yeah.
cool.
Yes.
What was the audition process like? And how did you find out about it?
Well, let me start with how I was introduced to Cirque du Soleil. That was thanks
Okay.
to my father, who, when I was 8 years old, I believe, he got the CD of the show Quidam, the DVD actually.
Oh, cool.
Yes. And when I was 14, my mom took me to my bar mitzvah trip to Netherlands, and then we went to see Alegria for the first time live. That was an amazing experience for me. And then when I was 25 years old, Kidam, the same show I saw as an 8-year-old, came to Tel Aviv, my hometown.
Mhm.
And through a mutual friend, he introduced us, and I helped him set up a masterclass in Tel Aviv, which was great experience for me. And as a thank you, he invited me to see the show with the backstage tour. And he showed me his kit. I was sitting to see the show with the stage management, so I really had a perfect view and experience to that world of Cirque du Soleil from the eyes of a drummer. And that was in 2015, and that was the first moment I told myself in my head that I want to be there one day. So then I started my way up and started the process of creating a profile online on their casting website. Um, then I, from creating the the casting profile, I get a general audition. Um, that's what most musicians get when they apply. They're getting a general audition, and each audition has 4 to 5 different songs from different shows. And you get the charts, you get the music with the drums, without the drums, and then you record yourself. It's all online. You just upload into their website, and basically that's the general audition process. There's no deadline to that process, so you can take as
Oh,
much time as you need to prepare the material as best as you can. Um, It took me quite a while, but eventually I uploaded the videos. And funny enough, really not long after, I got a job opportunity for a specific show, and that was Kuza. And that was in 2016, the summer of 2016, I believe. And I didn't get the job. Apparently, someone else got the gig. So I was pretty bummed, but I didn't let that to stop me. I let that to motivate me and be better and keep going. 2 years later, I get another audition for the show Curious. And they really gave me a short time to prepare. I think it was maybe a week to prepare 5 songs, very, very long songs, very complicated songs. And I didn't get the job either. And apparently, what happened is the guy from Kuza 2 years ago moved to Curious.
Oh,
So then what happened? Because the same
that
guy
opened
moved to
Kuza, right?
Curious,
Uh-huh.
exactly, that
Yeah.
opened the position for Kuza a few years later. So in the same email that they told me, sorry, we can't accept you for a Curious, but now we have an opening for Kuza. Would you be still available to audition? So I said, yeah. And then they said, we can just apply the same video you sent us a few years ago. And I was very skeptical, because years have passed. My drumming
Yeah,
is
hopefully your
better,
playing improved and everything along the
improved.
way.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I was pretty skeptical. I basically did nothing to apply to the second audition for Kuza, except replying to the email. Yeah, you can apply the same videos, and that's it. A few months later, I got an email saying they would like to see me with a video presentation. That's how they call it, a video presentation, where they just send you a few questions and you talk to in front of the camera so they can know you a little bit better. And then another month goes by and they send me an email. Congratulations, would like to offer you the job for Kuza. So just like
Wow,
that.
that's great. That's
Yeah.
great. And how long has that been? How long ago was that?
That was the summer of 2019. I started working in September of 2019.
So about
Sorry,
5 years.
October of 2019. So yeah, about 5 years now. And that was, if you don't count COVID, which is a year and a half, but
Yeah.
the second we were able to come back to work after COVID, that was that was December of 2021 already. So since December of 2021, I've been touring all over the place: Dominican Republic, Mexico,
Oh, wow.
yeah, Canada, United States, a lot of places. Yeah.
That's awesome. What has and folks, if you missed a couple clips that I showed, we'll show those again. What's the biggest thing you've learned as a musician from working with Cirque?
Wow, it's a great question. Um, First of all, working with people, that's the most important thing, I think, because obviously everyone that is here knows how to do their job, but eventually it's about the people and the chemistry and how we all work together as a team.
Mhm.
um, and that's really the game changer for me, I think, is being able to work with people and really open my mind. There has been so many incidents that I found myself on the stage, and for some technical reason I need to extend my drum solo,
Mm.
so they're talking to me in my in-ear when I'm playing on the stage, and they're telling me, oh, okay, you can wrap it up now, or no, sorry, we need another 3 minutes. So these incidents that happens are really not um, natural for a drummer on a more normal gig, not a
Right.
Cirque du Soleil gig. So it really opened up my mind to be very flexible, not to just accompany the music, but also to accompany the action and all the acrobatics that's happening on stage.
Right.
It's really special, and it's something that I never done before, and it's super fun, and I learn something new every day, and
Oh,
it's
wow,
really
that's
really
great.
special. Yeah.
That's great. Do you ever, and I don't know if there's time for this, but do you ever get together with anybody you've met through Cirque on the side and go jam or something or get creative?
From time to time, I go like in between cities. We have some breaks, so I would go to see a different Cirque du Soleil show and meet with the
Mm,
musicians there.
nice.
Um, or the other way around. Like, musicians from a different Cirque du Soleil show come to see Kuza and they hang with us.
That's
And
cool.
then s- it's rare we have the time to jam, unfortunately, because we work so much.
Yeah.
But sometimes we usually jam during sound check. You know, before we need to check everything, we jam a
Yeah.
little
That's
bit. You
cool.
know, that's how we start the week, or we start the day on a good note. We just jam a little bit, and then we do the sound check, and then showtime.
That's awesome. Let's show those clips again for those who missed it. And then I have some questions about your history in music, picking up from after you were playing in your dad's studio when you were a little boy. We'll talk more about influences and some methodologies and things like that. But first, let's show these clips. First, a quick drum solo. That's cool. And now a clip from the show with more of the band.
Tonight we're gonna choose the cool side. Yeah,
That's cool. So let's start here. Who were some of your first influences and what was the type of music in case some people aren't familiar with who they might be?
Of the music that I listened as a when
Uh, yeah,
as a
of
boy.
yours. Like some
Ah,
of your first, yeah, some of your first music that influenced you musically and as drummers.
oh, okay, great question. Yeah. So I grew up listening to many different genres, but mainly classical music. That's where
Okay.
my true love is classical music. I love listening to classical music so much. That's what I listen on a daily basis. That really calms me
Oh,
down. And I love classical music very much. I also played orchestral music a
great.
little bit for a few years. So yeah, it's really something that's very dear to my heart. Um,
Awesome.
and as for drummers, there's a few. So I love Ken Woodenard, and I actually met him for a private lesson in Tel Aviv a few years ago. Um,
Oh,
Bill Bruford, um, Bernard Purdy, Phil Collins. Those are my top four, I believe. Yes.
that's great.
Yeah.
Good. And what kind of music is your favorite music to listen to now, as far as if there's any favorite music in the popular realm?
hmm Uh, well, you know, I have a it's a blessing and a curse. I get bored very easily, you know. So when I hear something and I want to learn it, I learn it and then I move on to the next thing. So right now
Mm.
I'm playing a lot of jazz, and I'm playing a lot of Turkish music as well. And I play a lot of Motown music, and then
Oh, cool.
it's very, very diverse. I love
That's great.
playing as much as possible. Yeah, I learned that
That's awesome.
as a drummer, the more you know, the more opportunities you get. So I'm always on the lookout for new things to learn.
That's great. And did you get turned on to different types of influence through your father, his musicality as a pianist and a producer? Did that have an influence on you as far as not just sticking with
Yeah,
classical or not just sticking with certain things? Because I think that
yeah,
can help any musician.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, my father, he plays a lot of classical music. He started as a classical pianist, and then when all the electronic and synthesizers came to life, he shifted into that world really. And my father had his recording studio in our house. So I literally grew up in a recording studio, so I would see musicians and actors and artists coming and out every day to record music, and every time it was different music. It was Middle Eastern, and it was rock, and it was theatrical, and movies, and jingles and commercials, and pop music, and anything you name it really. So
That's
I was
cool.
exposed to so many things and artists and music. um, so it really, really opened my mind. And when the drummer was getting late for a recording session or something, so my dad would tell me, jump in the kit and let's let's hear you out a little bit on the kit on this song. So he would also always give me an opportunity to join on his recording sessions if it was possible. So it was really,
Yeah, that's
really, it was a very special way to grow up on having a musical producer, pianist father as a little boy. Yeah.
that's awesome. Cool. Thanks for sharing all that. My last question has nothing to do with music. The last question is the Eden Bahar fun fact segment. And here's tell us, oh, but like now you're chilling in Laguna, you're not doing a show right now. What do you like to do when you're not playing drums, when you're not working on your craft, when you're not performing with Cirque, when you're doing something completely outside of music? How do you like to spend your time?
Um, I love going out to museums. That really, really inspires me.
Nice. Any particular type of museums?
Mainly like Baroque art, and I don't really, not really a big fan of the modern art. It's pretty out there. I don't
Yeah,
understand most of it.
that's a good way to put
um,
it.
yeah, yeah. I love the old paintings and sculptures, and that's really something that I love very, very much. Really inspires me.
That's cool. If you ever get down to San Diego, and there's a lot of these around our country, I know folks, but in San Diego, the Museum of Art and History is just incredible. It's just
Oh, okay.
you can't even take it in one day. There's just so much to see, and Los Angeles has a great one. There's just so many around the country, but San Diego's and it's in a beautiful area, so that would be a good one to check out.
I will definitely try to check it out.
Very cool. So maybe not so coincidentally, classical art along with the classical music, right?
Absolutely. It goes together.
Absolutely. Cool. Eden, we'll definitely have to do this again sometime. Learned a lot about Cirque and the whole process and congratulations on your success and also on your awesome book, folks. The link is in the post. No matter where you're watching this, check it out if you want some inspiration, motivation. It is real. There's a real one right there. You can get yours on Amazon. On Amazon. And thanks for sharing your stories and your wisdom. And I'd love to catch the show sometime. That would really be cool.
Yeah, you really need to come see the show. I will get you the tickets for you and all your family.
Awesome. Be careful. There's a lot of us. We have 11
I
kids,
know,
19
I
grandkids,
know.
and their great grands. It's like 31 people now.
Same size as
Cool.
my family, so it's good.
Oh, awesome. Great. Hey, everybody. Thank you so much for joining Eden Bahar and myself here on Drum Talk TV. And life is short. Have fun. Play drums. We'll be back with a lot more stuff. If you don't play drums, just have fun watching people like us play drums. Thanks, everybody.